I want to talk about New Hampshire,
Sure.
of course. I want to talk about Nikki Haley. But first, I want to play this clip. I thought of you the other day. This is Iowa caucus, and they're counting votes on slips of paper that they're pulling out of a popcorn bucket.
Trump.
Like what is like old school, like 80s
Trump.
looking popcorn buckets. And here's John King on CNN.
Trump.
This is what happens everywhere, in Democratic precincts, in Republican precincts, in evenly drawn precincts, all across America on election nights, whether they're using a hand ballot like this and counting it right before your very eyes, doing the arithmetic we all learned in grammar school, or whether they're using machines, but they can also double-check the machines as well. There are ways to do this. This, to me, as someone who's done this for 40 years, forgive me for editorializing, is the saddest part of our democracy, that people doubt this. You're watching it tonight. Republicans, this is a Republican process you're watching tonight. These are honest, hardworking Americans counting votes, doing it right. There's every reason to believe, because it has always been so, that this will continue all the way through the process. I love watching this because it's working the way it's supposed to work, because it works.
It's like, yeah, John, you're watching them literally count ballots, and we're watching because there's a camera 1 foot away watching it. This is how they did it in Iowa, and no one doubts the results of the Iowa caucus and their integrity. But this is not how it's done everywhere else.
Yeah, you're so right about this. And I did make this point after Iowa. I don't know if I had the chance because of the new baby to make it here with you, Mike, but it's the democracy thrives in Iowa. It was negative 1 million degrees. It was, the results were never in doubt. Everyone knew it was going to be a historic blowout for Trump. And so all of these people who value civic engagement, who value our democracy or our representative republic, whatever phrase you'd like to use. We understand that we're talking about the same stuff. They all showed up, voted. They voted in droves. They voted peacefully. We have no doubt what the election results were. It's all of that was happening, and the to act like that's impossible, that we need to have voter IDs, we need to have 9 extra days, we can't have postmarks on ballots, we can't have signature matching, all that stuff is just such lies and frauds, and it's all stuff we're going to witness. As every state has their own individual rules, and we're going to witness this all again this year, and it's going to be total chaos, and it is going to erode our natural trust and consciousness and confidence kind of heading into November of this year. There has to be some sort of a level of commitment to have a society that is, I think, as high functioning, as excellent as we would like to think of America. We always have thought of America as a city on a hill. And if you look at our history, if you look at the people who were around at the founding of our country, they were of incredibly high, they were virtuous people, or at least they thought of themselves that way. I mean, I wasn't there, but their value system was very strong, and they were incredibly civically engaged. They were even willing to fight wars violently to protect some of those values. We're losing touch of a lot of that stuff right now. And that is I feel like we are not civically engaged. We are much more engaged with whether or not Taylor Swift's at the football game or whatever's going on in our feed than we are in terms of what's actually happening in our republic right now at a civic level. That's a disgrace. Of course, we're getting more godless, and we're having our values are less strong on average than they have been. And I think we need a big course correct in this regard. And you know what makes things easier to course correct? When you don't even have to bother to drag your behind to the polls once every 4 years. You can have someone who is paid by the Democrat Party to turn in your ballot. And by the way, those people are willing to pay you to do it. Now, can you make the case that if that's all people are willing to commit, then that is what it is? Yeah, that's what Democrats are doing. But I would like to think that we are capable as a country of being excellent. And that's not excellent. That's beneath mediocrity. That's a disgrace if that's who we are.
Let's talk about Nikki for a few minutes here, because she may win today. Alex,
it's possible.
How did we get to the point where Nikki Haley is the non-Trump candidate?
Yeah, I think part of it is I had a family member who said to me that they sort of admired her rhino skin, how she's able to stand up to a lot of people and go out there and take a lot of slings and arrows. And I don't know Nikki Haley at all. I haven't interviewed her. She is somewhat communicative with Breitbart, more so than Ron DeSanctimonious. Okay,
that's been retired.
DeSanctis. You know, I call him DeSanctis. He says but DeSanctis was less communicative than Nikki with us. So I do give her some credit, even though I disagree with. It feels like more than half of her politics, which is shocking considering we're both Republicans. But I can't tell if she's just got a huge level of ambition and a lot of rhino hide and it's impressive, or if it's what I feel in my heart, which is that she's got a disconnect and that there's just something that she just does not have a level of shame and she is willing to sell out in order to get money and power that most of us just simply cannot fathom. And that
but she's going to get 30% of the vote or something, whatever.
Yeah, but it's an odd primary because, first of all, it's now sort of a two-horse race, it is two-horse race. And I think New Hampshire is one where Democrats can vote. The state is run by rhino Republicans or very, very moderate Republicans who seem to have more in common with Democrats, certainly with the establishment, as we describe it at Breitbart, than with anything Trump represents. So, and those people are going to vote in the primaries today. So it wouldn't blow me away if Haley wins. And I think Trump's going to win. And if Trump wins by more than 8 or 10 points, it's got to be. I think this thing's done tonight. But it's not impossible just because of the nature of this unique state, but that's okay with me. I don't live in New Hampshire. New Hampshire can choose who they want to choose. If they like someone who wants to aid the defense contractors and to fight wars every place and to, build up the Washington swamp, and equivocates on trans issues and equivocates in the open borders, if that's who they like, then you know what? That's who they like. But it's not who I would vote for.
Well, she was bullied when she was younger.
Oh, boy. Well, in that case, I should reconsider everything.
Yesterday we were talking about Nikki and who is this person? Like, who's this person that supports DeSantis specifically? But now that he's out, can't jump on the Trump train and then goes to Nikki. It's like, I don't get that Venn diagram.
It's sore losers. I mean, it just is. It's if you're still someone who has this illusion that Ron DeSantis is some sort of virtuoso political figure. He's not. He is a competent executor of certain policies that I think favor the state of Florida very well, and he deserves a lot of praise for that. But he's not an inspiring national political figure. I think that's been pretty clear at this point.
We had a few people call in and talk about the mean tweets, Trump's mean. And I got some thoughts I want to share on that in the next segment. But what's your response to that person? That maybe like my Nana. I don't even know if my Nana would have that mentality, but sort of the Nana mentality of Alex.
Yeah, I played sports growing up, so trash talk is just what happens. I make this comment a lot to friends and family that I have certain male friends that I have to say heinous, insulting things that if Media Matters or some hacker ever gets a hold of my email, they're going to find all these things where I say these horrible things to friends of mine, and I don't even like it. I just know they like it. And that's Trump. He's just a trash talker. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, they're all trash talkers. You know what they do? They also win. If you don't like it, fine. You don't like it. I don't love it. It's not how I interact typically, but I understand it. And didn't we make our peace with this 7 years ago? Are we going to really give the country back to Joe Biden over it?
Yeah. I think there are people who just can't do it. I got 1 minute, but some guy wrote me an email. He deserves better. He wrote me a nice thoughtful email, but it was something like Trump does a good thing and then he shoots himself in the foot afterwards with like something he says about it. Yeah. And he's frustrated by that.
It happens. I mean, Selena Zito had the right quote, which is you got to take Trump figuratively, but
seriously.
Seriously, but not literally, and his opponents take him literally, but not seriously. That's it. That's the quote, and that's how you got to approach it. And if you can't, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So I say this for your own peace of mind. Even if you don't like him, I mean, at least for your own peace of mind, just think. I spent 2 hours with him a couple weeks ago, Mike. I don't know if he said one literal thing the whole time, and if he did, he only did it to be a curveball.
Yeah. Alex Marlow, editor-in-chief, Breitbart.com for us. Breaking the news, now out in paperback. So if you don't have it in the hardcover, buy the paperback. If you do have the hardcover, you might as well get the paperback too, get the complete set. And then, of course, Breaking Biden, the newest book. Yeah, I get that one. What are we doing here? Alex, great to talk to you, brother.
Mike, congrats on the first deal. I'm loving watching on TV, so keep up the good work.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. We can simulcast now on the firsttv.com. There we are. Channel 347, DirecTV, First TV app, firsttv.com. We're everywhere.